Hello and welcome to IELTS by Sherris. In today's video, we are going to talk about how you can score 7 bands or above for your grammatical range and accuracy. You may be wondering what actually is grammatical range and how will it be assessed. So, the examiner is going to look for a wide range of sentence structures in your essay. Simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, passive sentence. And what is grammatical range and accuracy? The examiner will look at a variety of structures and there are very few or no grammatical mistakes in it, which means it has to be accurate. Now let's understand each sentence type in detail.
Simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, passive sentence, and modal verb sentence. Let's start with the most simplest one, as the name suggests. For example, if you have a prompt in your essay topic as immigration has a major impact on the society. Now the thing is, you cannot use the same words. Neither can you use the same tense again and again. So it's better to reframe the same sentence in a simple form initially. Let's say we can write as people prefer to move to developed nations. We can also write people move for better education. Now both these sentences are individual sentences. They do not depend on any other sentence for its existence, which is why they are very easy to write and they score well as well. Next is compound sentence. It's a combination of one simple sentence and another simple sentence. Now, how can you join both these sentences? So, we have few words which will help you conjugate two individual simple sentences, which are I've just prepared a keyword for you in case if you forget at times. So, you can use words like for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, and there are many other words as well, but these are the most frequently used ones. So, for example, just as we had the two simple sentences in our previous slide, people prefer to move to developed nations, people move for better education. So, how can you join these two simple sentences and make a compound one? So, let's see the example over here. People prefer to move to developed nations for better education. So, we just added a for and we have created a compound sentence. Another example is people move to developed nations and get the benefit of better education. So it's a simple and, but this sentence makes it more effective. And the last example is developed nations provide better education, so people move there. So here in these examples we covered three different keywords that are for, and so. So the next type of sentence structure is a complex sentence. Now this is the most scoring one, yet the most difficult one, and the most error prone as well. But when you understand it correctly, you can write it easily as well. So let's get into how you can actually write a complex sentence easily. It is a combination of one independent clause and one or more than one dependent clauses. Now this formula looks a bit tricky and it looks confusing, but when you see the examples you'll be able to understand uh, more about what I'm actually trying to say. So there are actually three different type of clauses that we can cover up: relative, subordinate, and conditional. Let's directly jump to the examples. Relative clauses. So herein, as you can see in the example, the painting which was painted in Amsterdam got sold for over $500 million. So now here the painting. So this is an independent clause, but here we are using a keyword that is which, and it describes more about that painting. So which painting? The painting that was painted in Amsterdam. But what happened to that painting? It got sold for over $5 million. So now here there are three different simple sentences which are synced in together. You can say the painting which was painted in Amsterdam. That's one part of it. The painting which was painted in Amsterdam got sold. Again, second part. sold for over $5 million. So you have connected three different information together in a one sentence, and that is a pretty scoring sentence. The second example is there were plenty health risks that the scientists identified. So now in the first half we are saying that there were plenty health risks. So that's an independent clause. It's okay. Understand. It's understandable. But now we are giving more information on that independent clause. That is, there were plenty health risks that the scientists identified. Third example, the book is about a woman whose son went missing. So it says about a book. What is the book about? It's about a woman. Which woman? A woman whose son went missing. So that's how we can write a relative clause and use it in a complex sentence. Let's get ahead and learn something about subordinate clauses. We can use keywords like because, while, until, even though, although, when, if. Let's learn how we can do it. People continue to use plastic bags even though they know they are non-degradable. So here we are using a clause even though, and we are giving an information that people are continuing to use plastic bags when they already know that they are non-degradable. So these two different sentences are synced in together using the keyword even though. Although the price of pesticide fell, the overall price of food production rose. So here, if you can observe, we are using the keyword in the starting of the sentence and we are giving the effect of that event in the second half of the sentence. So we are saying that although the price of pesticide fell, the overall price of food production rose. So there are two different events happening, but one, we are saying that the price of pesticide fell, and we are saying another, price of food production rose. So they are not the same events, but they happen in the same occurrence of time. Now this is a reasoning. So here we are saying because the building was demolished, people had to temporarily shut down their shops. So this is an effect of the building being demolished, and what was the result? The people had to temporarily shut down their shops. So subordinate clauses usually are helpful when you want to describe any event or any effect. Usually in the writing task too, whenever we are giving topics such as what is your opinion and what could have been done, and essays like they are on political issues or they are on construction issues or any issues at all. So because, although, even though, when, if, because, until is also a very good word. So all these keywords can be used and you can write sentence in the form of subordinate clauses. Next is conditional clauses. If only, unless, until. So until is used in both the scenarios, in subordinate clause as well and in conditional clauses as well. So let's see an example. If the government doesn't find a solution to this problem, many more people will suffer. So here we are giving if and then situation. Although we don't write a then, we can write a then, but in this sentence structure it's not required. So basically we are trying to say that if the government will not find a solution to this problem, many more people are going to suffer. Second example, the problem won't be solved unless government finds a solution to it. Now this is also a very good sentence and it's a very generic sentence, so you can use it uh, anywhere in your essay regardless of the topic. So you can change the government to whatever topic your essay prompt is. The example goes as, if only government had found a solution to this problem, people wouldn't have suffered. So in cases where you don't want to use the only if keyword, you can use if only keyword. Only difference is in the if keyword, firstly the negation will come. So here we are saying if the government doesn't find a solution, many more people will suffer. In this example, we are not using a negation first, we are using negation in the second half of the sentence. So we are saying if only government had found a solution to this problem, people wouldn't have suffered. So the only difference is here the negative word is in the doesn't is in the first half. In here the wouldn't is in the second half. Let's now jump in towards the passive sentence. Passive sentence is again very simple, and we can use it most of the times in paragraph 2 and 3, like in your body paragraphs. And let's see some examples. The simple sentence over here is the government will solve the problem. What will be its passive sentence? The problem will be solved by the government. In case if the tense is different, so if it's like the government may have resolved the issue may have been resolved by the government. Now let's talk about modal verb sentence. So usually we don't see many lessons on this kind of sentence. It looks a bit difficult, but it's very easy. So in a modal verb sentence, there are three things which can be talked about: possibility or certainty, suggestions, or hypothetical situations. Let's start with the first one, possibility or certainty. The keywords used here will be like will, may, might, could. In suggestions, it'll be like must, should, ought to, have to, could. And in hypothetical situations, you can use keyword like would, could. Let's go through few examples that will depict how you can use a modal verb sentence. There are various health risks that the scientists might identify through this study. So here we are talking about a possibility. So it says the scientists might identify through the study. This study conducted by the scientists could pose serious health risks. The scientists ought to identify some serious health risks through this study. So the first sentence and the third sentence, it tries to say the similar thing, only the keywords are different. So whenever you want to use more modal verb sentences in the same paragraph and you don't want to repeat the keywords, you can use might and ought to. The government must put more money on hospitals for better health facilities. If the government spends more money on hospitals, people would be healthier. Again, would be. That's again a possibility. This sentence is again a generic one. The government must put more money. The colleges must imply strict rules. The university must enroll maximum students. So you can change the noun over here, but the modal verb format will remain the same.
Now that we have understood each sentence structure in detail, it's very important to practice them as well. The best way to do it is by memorizing the formats and the most important keywords. And don't forget, a wide range of sentence structures is all that you need to fill your essay with.